Jared Dillian. Own your money, own your life.
I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show. If you want to call to talk about your money, please call 844-305-7800. That's 844-305-7800. This is the Jared Dillian Show. Which debt do you pay off first? You know, you would think that this is what I love about personal finance. This is one of the things I love about it, because there's no easy answers, right? There's a lot of smart people out there. You have physics PhDs and math PhDs, and they're working on Wall Street, and they're trading stocks, and they're programming and stuff like that. But when it comes to personal finance, these questions are actually harder. They're actually much harder, and you can't optimize it. There's no easy answers. Which debt do you pay off first? Do you pay off credit card debt? Do you pay off your mortgage, car loans, student loans? What do you pay off first? Like, if you look this up on the intertubes, there's going to be just, hundreds of different answers, just people's opinions. So, I mean, look, like, I'm gonna give you my opinion. I think it's better than everyone else's opinion, but it's an opinion. It's absolutely an opinion. You can't mathematically model it. And this is a huge topic for personal finance experts, and there's lots of bad advice. Let's say you are trying to get out of debt. What debt should you pay off first? And a university professor might succinctly say, well, you pay off the debt with the highest interest rate first. And that is an answer, but it is incomplete. There's something called the snowball method, which I detest. I detest the snowball method. The snowball method says that you pay off the account with the smallest balance first. And the reason that people suggest that is for psychological reasons. Because if you can zero out a balance, then it's kind of like you put up a win and you feel better about it, and it makes you more motivated to pay off debt. But the problem with the snowball method is that you end up paying more money in the long run. You end up paying more interest because you didn't pay off the balance with the highest interest. You just paid off the smallest balance, so you're just going to be paying more money. Why would you give somebody that advice? It's bad advice, and I disagree with it. So, but there are other concerns. It's not precisely an equation that you can solve for X. Let's talk about some of those concerns. So you have secured debt and you have unsecured debt. And secured debt is debt that's secured by a house, a car. Unsecured debt is not secured by anything. And secured debt typically has lower interest rates and is lower risk, and unsecured debt has higher interest rates and higher risk. A lot of people get mad about the fact that student loans have interest rates of 8%, and they're like, "This is a ripoff. We're getting ripped off." And I'm like, "No, it's not. It's not a ripoff. It's unsecured debt. If you don't pay it, the government has no recourse. So that's why it has a higher interest rate." Secured debt is debt that is secured by real property. The most common example is a residential mortgage. The next most common is a car loan. If you don't pay the mortgage, the bank will kick you out of the house. If you don't pay the car loan, the repo man will come with a tow truck and drag it out of your driveway while you're eating dinner. Both are bad scenarios. Now, in some countries, like Canada, mortgages are what's called recourse. Not paying your mortgage is the end of the world. Mortgages are recourse. So, like the U.S., the bank kicks you out of the house and sells it, but if the proceeds don't cover the mortgage, you're on the hook for the rest. We don't have that here. We have what's called jingle mail. It is the bank's problem. The most common form of unsecured debt is revolving debt or credit cards. If you don't pay your credit card bill, Eventually, the account will go into collection, and you're going to get a lot of phone calls. You're going to have a few best buddies. I have a friend of a friend that was once a debt collector, and she actually enjoyed her job because she's like, these people are dirtbags. They didn't pay their bills. I don't mind harassing them. They didn't pay. So she enjoyed her job, and it's perfect for someone who lacks empathy. Anyway, you can try to consolidate your debt, but it's hard to make a defaulted credit card debt go away. You may reach some sort of a settlement, but you will eventually have to pay it unless you declare bankruptcy. So which do you pay first, secured or unsecured? This is the key point. It's going to be harder to pay down debt if you don't have a place to live, and it's going to be harder to pay down debt if you don't have a car to drive to work. Unsecured debt has higher rates, and some people would say pay off the highest rates first, but you need a house and you need a car. So oftentimes people have to pay secured debt first, even though it has a lower interest rate. You should probably prioritize that first. But, for example, if you don't need a car to get to work and your car only gets used on the weekends, you should probably pay unsecured debt ahead of that. Now, in terms of paying the highest rate, once you're on top of the priority secured debt, you should then pay the loan with the highest interest rate. There are some personal finance gurus out there who will tell you to pay down the smallest balance first. The idea is that you can completely wipe it out. It feels good, psychologically speaking, to do this, but it doesn't make any logical sense. Hypothetical scenario, you are paying down a balance that carries a 6% interest rate, but you have another balance that has a 17% interest rate. While you are busy paying down the smaller balance, you are getting whacked for more interest on the other account. You are literally losing money on a daily basis. This may not be satisfying, but keep whacking at it. So if you have a big balance with a high interest rate, you should get in there and start hacking at it. Take a big chunk out of that thing every time you get paid. I had this conversation with a family member recently who told me he had mid 5 figures in credit card debt. I was like, dude, you're paying $7,000 in interest a year. And I gave him my usual spiel about how interest is unproductive and how he's just contributing to bank profits. I'm Jared Dillian. This is The Jared Dillian Show.
Jared Dillian. Own your money. Own your life.